said, I'm going to turn it over to our next speaker, who is absolutely incredible. And so I had the pleasure of sharing, the stage with him this weekend. And him and his lovely wife are just two of the most incredible people that we've met. We've been able to travel with as well. I was just actually down in Tampa visiting a friend, and him and his wife found out that I was in town, and we all got together and just hung out and broke bread, and were able to spend the day together with their three amazing boys, the V Bros as their nickname. And I'm just I love this couple because of their heart. They're just amazing people. They love to serve the community, but make no mistake, they know how this business is done. Just a couple months ago, they put 30 plus personals in the system in 1 month, and took advantage of that triple play. And I can tell you guys, he led a training this weekend on inviting that he's going to share now. And then we have some happiness that we're going to put together for you guys. So please make sure you have a pen and paper ready to take some notes. You're not going to want to miss what Josh has to say. And make sure you stick around to the end as well. And so, with that being said, my man, 50 grand, Josh Valentin, are you on with us?
Hey, what's going on, Ben? Thanks for having me, brother. Really appreciate it. What's going on, family? How y'all doing? Hope everybody
I
is doing
can't,
well. Let me know if you can
volume
hear
is not
me.
up.
Drop a Y if you can hear me. Are you able to hear me, Ben? Okay, looks like
Absolutely.
everybody else is able to hear me. Perfect.
Perfect. There
Loud
you
and
go.
clear.
Perfect. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, great evening, great morning, great afternoon, depending on where in the world you are tuning in from. I am super excited to kick off tonight's training and have a lot of value for you guys. And man, to think that we have 100 days until the next national event, I'm super fired up. And for those of you who were in attendance, drop a comment. Let us know if you got value from the training this past weekend. And if you got some value, I'm just imagine what the next training is going to be like. So we're really excited. Make sure you get registered for those RTEs. Now, I noticed that when I gave my talk was about the launch mentality, and it was all about what my wife and I did to launch Viago. When we got into Viago, we came in with a certain mentality, a certain mindset. I spoke about the owner's mindset and what that actually looks like when you take your business into your own hands. We actually went right into a 90-day run that technically isn't over until this month is out. So my recommendation, like I mentioned on my talk, when you launch, you don't launch at 20%, you don't launch at 40%, you don't even launch at 80%. You are full throttle, 100%. And my recommendation for those of you who really want to win at a very high level with this business is to launch at 100%. Not next week, not on the first of next month. Launch tomorrow, if not tonight. We actually have a presentation starting right now with Muzaffar as well, an overview, if I'm not mistaken. But you guys want to launch full throttle, and I'm going to show you exactly how we went about that process when my wife and I made that decision. We put in about 40 people in about 40 days when we launched, and we went all out, and we actually hit the #1 spot on the triple play bonus. We hit in our first 3 days of launching. We only had 3 days to close out the month of October. And within those first 3 days, we ended up landing #4 on the billboard. And the following month, we ended up landing #1 on the billboard and earned a $6,000 extra commission on top of all the bonuses that we earned for that month as well. So I wanted to share some things that I didn't get to cover on my talk that some of you guys are probably wondering about. So, for those of you who know, my wife and I, we went all in. We told our kids that we were going to be #1. We told you guys what we were going to do. We basically burned all the boats. We wanted to let it be known because the human experiences, we do far more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. And we understood that if we made a public declaration, the pain of being humbled in a major way was what was driving us. And of course, you had the financial incentives and all these different things. So I want to kind of go over a little bit in terms of what I actually what did I say to people when I reached out? I'm not sure how many of you were wondering, but some of you are probably like, Josh, what exactly did you tell all of these people that you reached out to? Like, what was the invite? What did that actually look like for you? And before I do that, there was something that I didn't get to cover, and that was on the color close. So for those of you who are familiar with the colors, the reds, I kind of summarized it for you guys and mentioned how red personality types want to take over the world. Then you have the yellows who want to save the world, the blues who want to party around the world, and the greens who want to know how the world works. Okay, so we all fall fall within one of these 4 personality types, if not 2 of them. And the cool thing about it is you can actually close your prospects with the color close. So I mentioned that if someone is a yellow personality type, the way that I close, instead of asking them, are they ready to get started? The way that I close is, are you ready to change the world? Are you ready to change lives, right? That's a yellow type of close. If it's a blue, then I'll say something like, you ready to join us on the beaches of the world or what, right? And I'll close like that. If it's a red personality type, I'll say something along the lines of, you ready to make this money or what? And that's how I close, instead of asking directly, are you ready to get started? Now, the part that I didn't mention is for the green personality types, those personality types they'd rather you keep it real. Green personalities, you can just shoot it to them straight. So for them, ask, are you ready to get started? So I just wanted to clarify that, because so many people were coming up to me afterwards like, how do you close the greens? For the greens, that's when I actually use, are you ready to get started? Now, you can ask anyone, are you ready to get started? This is for those of you who it may feel a little bit more natural for you to talk to your friends and say, hey, you ready to make this money? Or hey, you ready to join us on the beaches of the world? As opposed to directly asking them, are you ready to get started? They're pretty much all asking the same thing. I always get an answer, but the most important thing when you're closing people is to always ask for the sale. You have to ask for the sale. The number one reason why people don't get started is because they're simply never asked. So as we move forward with that, I wanted to stress just inviting in general. What exactly am I saying to people? I'm sure some of you are probably wondering like, okay, Josh, what does the message look like? So the other week, I shared with you guys like my inbox. If you go on my Facebook inbox, these are all messages that I sent. To kickstart the new year, I basically, let's see who we have here. I'd reach out to, let's say, Sarita, and I say, Happy New Year, Sarita. How's everything on your end? Happy New Year, Tim. How's everything on your end? Happy New Year, Jackie. How's everything on your end? And I'm waiting to get a response. Now, I did this with hundreds of people, like from on my Facebook, go through people who are looking at your stories. So if you post the stories on your social media, go on that stories and see who's actually looking at your content. Those are typically the very best people to start out with. You can also look at people who are liking your posts, commenting on your posts. These are also really good people to reach out to. You can go through the last 50 people that you sent a text message to, the last 50 people that you sent a direct message to. These are all really great people to add on your list. Okay, now you want to physically write a list. I find that most people go wrong because they without physically writing a list. I wish I had a piece of paper here, but you want to get that list on a paper, pen and paper, write it down and put it somewhere where you can see it every single day. If you have not written a list, physically written a list, you have not started your business. Now, it took me, I'm almost embarrassed to say this, it took me almost 5+ years to get to a point where I started to build my business with a physical list. And one thing that I can assure you is that when you look at your list, it just gives you so much more confidence when you're building this business. It's like a gold mine. You have this list that's a valuable asset. Understand that that is not just a list. Your hopes, your dreams, your children's futures, generational wealth is in that list. That is not just a list of prospects. There are lives that are going to be changed by you going through all of those people on that list. So I want you guys tonight to create your list for this next 90-day run that you are about to embark on, because that list is your valuable asset that you have in your business. That's your list of potential customers. That's your list of business partners. And you have to treat this thing like a business, and you have to inspect what you expect. So the way that I go about my list is I write out all the people that I want to reach out to. So if you want to go big with this business, then you're going to want to put in 30 personals fast. You see, my wife and I, what took us almost 5 years to do, we did in 5 weeks, because we said, you know what? It's going to suck. We don't like being rejected just as much as you don't like being rejected. But the difference is we would rather suffer fast. We're just like, let's get it over with. If we're going to suffer anyway, let's suffer fast. Why prolong the suffering? In Japanese tradition, there's something, back in the day, they had the death by 1,000 cuts. They would cut their enemy 1,000 times and have them bleed to death. And it was a process that was slow and it was agonizing. And too many of you are dying the death of 1,000 cuts. You are just taking the slow path, and slow sucks. fast is fun. So you want a sonic boom. You want to go super fast in this business. Don't just play around with this thing. Launching is so much more fun because what happens is you're not even noticing the noise. I can tell you right now, in the last 90 days, I don't know if people quit. I don't hear the noise of people complaining on my team. I don't hear the noise of, oh, this isn't working or that. Like, we're just moving so damn fast that we don't even hear the naysayers. We don't care what other people are saying. We don't care about the opinions of other people. Like, they're out there spectating and we're out here traveling on the beaches of the world schooling our kids. I don't want to get too spicy here, but you guys catch my drift. Like, we really don't care about what other people have to say about, oh, they're doing a pyramid scheme. Who cares? You don't have my lifestyle. You're not qualified to talk about what it is that we do here. If you don't have the freedom that I have, if you don't have the ability to do what you want, when you want, how you want, for as long as you want, if you're out there building someone else's dreams, but you have an opinion about what I'm doing here, you're simply not qualified to talk about what it is that I do, or to even have an opinion about what it is that I do. You have to have posture. Posture up. This is the time. You have to launch your business and posture up. Silence the noise. It doesn't matter what people are saying, your family, your friends, your broke brother-in-law, who gives a damn? Just move so damn fast that you do not hear the noise. That is what the sonic boom mentality is all about. Moving so fast where you don't even hear your own self, all of your limiting beliefs, all of the internal chatter, that inner me that is telling you that you're not enough, that is telling you that people aren't going to follow you, that is telling you maybe this network marketing thing isn't for me. That inner me, I can assure you, when you move fast enough, you don't even hear your own self talking to you with all of these limiting beliefs. So I just want you guys to understand this launch mentality, because that's really what it is. Success is 80% mindset, 20% mechanics. So as we move forward, I just want to go into what an inviting session actually looks like. So you have to get yourself in a peak state. I like to do my inviting sessions in 25-minute increments. There's a productivity hack called the Pomodoro. The Pomodoro, the way it works is you get into a flow state, 25 minutes. Just eliminate all distractions, engineer your environment, put yourself in a winner's world. Make sure that you're not answering any text messages. Delete your Facebook app if you have to. You don't even need the damn Facebook app. You just need Messenger to reach out to your people. All you need is the Messenger app. So if you have to delete your Facebook just so that you can be focused, then do that. But make sure that you eliminate all distractions, because every single distraction can knock you out of your flow state for up to 15 minutes. So my recommendation is to find out just 1 hour of the day that you can be fully locked in, fully focused on just your inviting, you and your list. Sit down with your list. Sometimes the hardest part is just showing up. If you can just show up, I can assure you that you're going to be a lot more likely to actually reach out to your prospects. Another thing is play some music in the backdrop if you have to. Engineer your environment so that it's most conducive for you reaching out to your prospects. Get yourself amped up. Go to a coffee shop if you have to and send out those messages. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be the mindset that helps you take your business to the next level. Every single day you rest your head at night, you should be asking yourself, am I proud of myself for the work that I put in today? You want to go to bed proud of yourself every single day. And that was the mentality that my wife and I had. We wanted to go to bed genuinely proud that we actually followed through on our numbers. Now, a confused mind does nothing. You can't hit a target that you can't see. So this is the power of actually knowing the amount of people that you are going to be reaching out to today. So we're going to be doing a challenge, guys, for you guys. That this challenge is going to be a challenge where it's 100 reach out challenge. Okay, so this is the idea, and don't say that you're in until you hear what the challenge actually entails. Okay, and so we're gonna address that really quick. But before we do that, I wanted Ben to just come up really quick, because Ben also is a beast. You know, Ben and his wife, Lauren, they were also on the top 10 when we were on the top 10 as well. And Ben launched his business also. And Ben, if you don't mind sharing what exactly the invite looked like for you, like when you were inviting your prospects to see the information, what did it look like for you? So my message, for example, was, hey, Ben, Happy New Year, brother. How's everything going on? And what I do oftentimes is I may even like and comment on some of your posts. That way, you know it's not a spam, because a lot of people, they haven't heard from you since Clinton
Yeah.
was in office. So it's like they're kind of like weirded out. Like, why are you reaching out to me so random? You know, they're wondering. So they may think it's a spam. So like or comment. Also check their profile. Make sure there's no tragedy that just happened to them, or make sure it's not their birthday, because sometimes you reach out to people and then it's weird because you didn't even realize that it was their birthday and you didn't even say happy birthday. So that's also something to consider. But I just want to mention this, Ben, before I kind of pick your brain on this.
Mhm.
You know, when I reach out to people, after I send them that initial message, I send voice notes. So I'll say, Ben, hey, Ben, what's going on, brother? I wanted to send you a voice note just so you know that it's actually me reaching out to you. I'm not sure what you're up to these days, brother. You know, I've always known you to be a go-getter, a hustler, and I actually launched a new business a couple of months ago. I would love to run it by you. You know, I'm not sure if you're open to it, but if you are, you know, would love to share with you what I have going on. Worst case scenario, you may know somebody who can benefit from it. That's a big, big part, because remember, people don't like to be rejected, but they also don't like rejecting people.
Yeah.
Right? People don't like rejecting people. So many times, if you say a business or you say you're launching something, they may kind of get freaked out by that, like, oh, I don't have no money to invest. I don't have any time, not realizing that our business isn't very expensive. Our business doesn't necessarily require 20 or 30-hour work weeks. So you want to kind of smash that feeling, as if, man, I don't want to let them down by telling them no. So that's why I take it away by saying, hey, you, worst case scenario, you may know somebody who can benefit from it, right? And I send voice notes because I like to humanize my selling tactics, and that always has worked for me. But Ben, I wanted to kind of hear your insight as to, you know, what has worked for you on your launch. You know, when you put in those people that for the month of November, especially, what did that look like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, one thing for sure, definitely voice notes, absolutely voice notes. People need to hear your excitement, your enthusiasm, not necessarily your knowledge, right? Because it's an invitation on the text message or the social media message. It's not a presentation, right? Because they didn't give you permission. They didn't ask you for the information. And so if you just spam them, it's like hunting, it's not fishing. And we have the bait, which is Viago. So we're just trying to reel them in, right? So same invitation as you, brother. You know, I tell them, hey, Josh, look, man, you know, I always compliment them. I'm like, man, I just stalked you on social media, you know, so I'm loving on their stuff just like you know, same thing. And, you know, just because I'm trying to reconnect with them before I reconnect with them. And so I think it's very important. And then I just tell them, hey, I'm working on this business project. I think you'd be all over it. It's about to launch and hit this area like a bomb. And if you know anything about what I've done in the past, you don't want to miss this one, because inevitably I run across people that come back to me later and say, I wish I got started when you did. And I'm giving the same opportunity right now.
Absolutely. No, I love that. And what do you say when someone asks, well, what is it, Ben?
Yep. So I say it's marketing and promotion, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously we should hop on Zoom because I can go through the details. A voice text isn't going to do it.
For sure, for sure. And the one thing I want you guys to understand is there's 1,000 ways to score a goal here, right?
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to say it's marketing and promotion. That's Ben's style. Like for me, I'll just straight up tell them, like, I'm going to show you everything on this webinar that I'm, you know, inviting them to. So I'll say, hey, you know, we're actually having a webinar. One of my business partners is going to be doing a webinar at 9:30 talking about our recent launch. And you'll be able to hear, you know, everything on that webinar. It's about 45 minutes or 30 minutes, whatever it is. And
Yep.
or if you're doing a push play video, you can find out what their availability is. So I like to make it easy for my people. So if they say, you
Yeah.
know, 4:30 is the very best time, then I'm going to set up a push play at 4:30. And this is the thing, amateurs text, professionals call. I've never seen anybody make a $500 purchase without jumping on the phone.
Yeah.
Like no one
So true.
texts their way to a close. You actually have to speak to these people.
Yep.
So I always open up the opportunity for them to jump on a call with me. So you can share the information. Many times I even jump on a call with them before I send the video. And I let them know, like, hey, this is a company that I'm really excited about. You know, the people that I collaborated with are, you know, people that helped grow $1 billion company in the past. And, you know, we're super excited what we have going on. And as you know, I was in a situation where I wanted more time freedom, and working this job is not providing. It's called the three-step setup. So you let people know your why exactly it is that you're doing this, and let them know that it's a big deal and that you're all in. And then you have the takeaway, right? Sometimes I'll say things like, it may or may not be for you, but it's definitely worth checking out. Worst case scenario, you may know somebody who can potentially benefit from it. And you keep it at that. And guys, it's super organic. It's like it's not cringe or anything like that. And my recommendation though is this: once you write out your list, so the 100 reach out challenge, this is essentially the way it's going to work. From now till the first of this month, we have 10 days to close out this month. And what we're going to do is reach out to 100 people in 10 days. This is not showing 100 people because you can't control who is willing to take a look. But one thing you always have control over is how many people you personally reach out to. You always have control over that. Now, you have to also have this owner mentality, and you have to respect the numbers. You see, at my talk, I spoke about how amateurs get emotionally involved in this business. You have to tune out the emotions, because when emotions are high, logic is low, and your emotions are going to get the best of you. So my recommendation is to put the blinders on. Make it a mission to reach out to 100 people over the next 10 days. That's an average of about 10 people a day. Go on your social media, A through Z. Go on your phone book, A through Z, and I can assure you, you'll find more than enough people on there. Okay, so tonight, the job is for you guys to write out a list. We want to launch you into the next 90 days or 100 days leading into our next event. Okay, so we're going to kind of try this out for the first time in Viago's history, of course. We just launched, so it's the first time we're ever experimenting with this. But for the first 10 days, now that we're all back acclimated at home, most of us, we're going to launch you guys into like a 90-day run. Okay, so your job is to write out your list tonight, the 100 people that you're going to reach out to. Then for the next 10 days, you want to reach out to a minimum of 10 people a day. If you reach out to 10 people a day, you're going to meet your target. Now, why is it important to know that it's 10 people a day? For the simple fact that you have to give your brain direction. It has to know exactly what the target is. And think about this. Ben, how long does it take to reach out to 10 people? Like how many minutes would that take you to send out those initial text messages?
I mean, honestly, like literally 30 seconds. I usually
Exactly.
copy and paste the same thing, and
Exactly.
I switch the name, so it's pretty simple.
Same here. We
Yeah.
we copy and paste the same message and
Yep.
just change the name.
Okay.
Always make sure you have their name in there though. Super,
Yeah.
super important.
Yeah. Listen, it would be worth it to double check that. So,
Yeah.
because if you contacted me and said, Josh, what's up, bro? It's just not gonna work out. So
Absolutely. So this is the goal, right? And don't commit. We're not going to get your commitment yet, but we want to see if you guys have a full understanding of how this thing works. And I'm going to be doing it too. Ben is going to be doing it too. We're also going into our next 90-day run. So this is going to be a great way to just launch your business. And again, 100 reach outs. Now, my recommendation, because what tends to happen is if you reach out to too many people and now you're inundated with everybody responding, do not keep reaching out to people until you clear your inbox.
yep.
So every single day, what I do is right before noon, I make sure that I clear my inbox for all the messages that I sent out the day prior. Okay, so if you have 25 pending messages, do not keep sending more messages out. You clear your inbox and you want to invite them to the nightly presentation or the daily presentation. We have tons of presentations happening throughout the course of the day. Ben, are there any presentations that you recommend that people lead their prospects to? Or a push play, like what do you suggest?
Well, I for sure know that Matt Morris is doing one tomorrow at noon time Eastern. So we can get that in the Elite Synergy Facebook group. Obviously, you have viagovideo.com, which is a nice, easy website to send people to. I would suggest watching that with them on Zoom because when you send someone something and you don't set an appointment, they typically, will ghost you. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, yep. So set the
Yeah.
appointment as if you were right there with them. And one thing that I always do to help kind of put the numbers in my favor, if I was talking to Josh, I'd say, "Hey, Josh, I don't have any expectations other than you are going to show up and do what you say you're going to do. I know you're a man of your word, but I hate to even ask, but I just don't want to lose the time. So I'm sure you're going to show up. Yes."
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Of course.
So I always end my invitation conversations with that.
Definitely. I love that. And for those of you who are doing push plays, my recommendation is do not send the push play until they can actually watch it right then and there. So you find out, hey, what
Yep.
time are you going to be free? Right? I'm going to send you a video that breaks everything down. They'll say 3:30 and I say, okay, I'm going to send you the video at 3:30. That way I can set aside some time to answer any questions that you may have. You have to treat this like a billion-dollar business. You see, if this was a billion-dollar business, you're not just going to send someone a link. You're going to go about it in a professional manner. Remember, you're not going to close somebody until you actually jump on a call with them. So you want to send them the video when they can actually watch it. And here's the thing. Some of you are like, well, what if they don't actually watch it? That's not who you're looking for. You're not looking for people who aren't serious enough to actually watch the information. So, again, some will, some won't. So what next? That's the mentality. So as we launch, I want you to understand the numbers. Out of the 100 people that you reach out to, and this is the part where you let go of the emotions, because wisdom is understanding without the emotion. That's what wisdom is. And I've done this long enough to have the understanding without getting emotionally involved to the outcome. So when I reach out to my next 100 people, I'm very aware that half of those people are not going to respond. Half of those people are going to ghost me. Half of those people are just simply not going to, for whatever reason, they get caught up in the witness protection program, whatever it is, they're just not going to engage with my message. But I respect the numbers. You have to respect the numbers. Remember, there's a concept in this profession called Sinaloa, safety in numbers and law of averages. That is the acronym of Sinaloa. And you have to respect the numbers. So when you reach out to the 100, be okay with half of them not responding. Now, let's say 50 out of the 100 respond. You invite them to the presentation going on. It could be a live presentation. It can be a push play, whatever it is that you utilize. And let's just say out of the 50 that agree to take a look at the information, at your very worst, you're going to close 1 out of every 10. There's a saying that if you get 3 out of 10, then just like in the Major League Baseball league, if you're scoring a 300 or more, you're making millions of dollars. In our profession, if you can close 3 out of 10, you can make millions of dollars in this profession. No income claims here, but I just want you guys to know that that is high level skill. So let's just say 1 out of every 10. If you show 50 people the information, you are bound to get at least 5 people signed up. Now, for some of you, you have to make up in numbers what you lack in skill and credibility. There are many of you that are starting out with maybe not the best credibility. Remember, you will either be rewarded or punished for the life you lived prior to your network marketing career. I'll say that again for those of you in the back. You will either be rewarded or punished for the life you lived prior to your network marketing career. So some of you are starting on enemy territory. Some of you are starting on the 50-yard line. Some of you are starting in the red zone. Okay, so keep in mind that you don't want to compare your chapter 1 to Ben's chapter 25, to Josh's chapter 25. You may be chapter 1, you may be chapter 5, and that's okay. But you make up in numbers what you lack in skill and what you lack in credibility. So you continuously go through the numbers. So the goal is very clear: 100 reach outs by the 1st. Okay, next week, we're going to let whoever's training next week, we're going to bring up and ask you guys how it's coming along. And we're going to know based on the new sales. Okay, so we're also going to be engaging on the Elite Synergy Facebook group, all of that stuff, but we want to know how this 100 Reach Out Challenge is going for you. Okay, we may even have some testimonials coming in to kind of share for people who are engaging, playing full out. Okay, but this is for the people who want to engage at an all-time level. And as we get ready to bring this thing in for a landing, I just want to make sure that I cover everything here. Now, I remember a great friend of mine said, in this business, the enemy in this business is a blank calendar. The enemy in this business is a blank calendar. You have to get really good at filling up your calendar. So the more people, the more prospects that you have on your calendar, the better. Operate by a schedule. Let your schedule be your boss. Every single day, dedicate the same 1 hour out of the day. The hour where you have the most energy, the most motivation, and stick to that 1 hour. It's not about the amount of time you put in, it's about the amount of people you show with the little time that you have. Okay, so my second recommendation is when you're reaching out to your people, have a follow-up list. Again, you have to inspect what you expect. So anybody that you share the information with, they're going to either tell you they're ready to get started or they need some time. Okay, and for those who need some time, put a reminder on your phone. I'm always setting a reminder. Hey Siri, remind me that Steve is set to follow up with him in 2 weeks. That way, when you follow up with them, you're being a professional. It's not weird. It's not you being desperate. Remember, people smell desperation like a dog smells fear. So you never want to give needy vibes. You're being a professional because they told you to follow up with them in 2 weeks. But you have to write it down. Too many people leave so much money on the table because they don't understand that the fortune is in the follow-up. Okay, so that is definitely my biggest recommendation is as you go through your 100 reach outs, as you start sharing the information with your people, reach out to us. If there's anything that we can do to support, if you have any questions about this whole process, we're accessible. We're here to help you guys. We want to help you get to this next level. So as I get ready to close out, I just want to say this, guys. This last 90 days that my wife and I have been launching, we've been having the most fun that we've ever had in this business. It's been fun, and you have to have fun in this business. And I mentioned on the stage that we always take a day off as well. Now, just know that if you take a day off over the next 10 days, you have to make up for it, okay? So you may go 10 people a day, and that's cool, or you may do 20 people over the course of 5 days. And I can tell you right now, we had days that we reached out to 50 people over the course of 1 day. All right. But just don't get to the point where you're overwhelmed with so many messages coming in and you're not responding. Clear your calendar, set a time to clear your calendar at least once a day, and set an hour of the day to do your prospecting or your reach outs. And then, of course, set your time to invite people to the live webinar. Okay. So as I get ready to close, I just want to say this. This has been an incredible journey, and just know that professionals understand that you need at least 30 personals to really win at a high level. Some people make a ton of money with less than 30. Some it may take 100 people, but on average, the people who go to make full-time income here put in at least 30. The process, it may suck, right? But suffer fast, get it over with, rip the damn Band-Aid off. And get to it, because it's so much better when you do it fast. I can assure you right now, if you take the long, arduous approach, you're going to notice a lot of the noise. But when you move at that sonic boom mentality, that sonic boom tempo, where you're drowning out all the noise, you're going to have so much more fun in this business. I can assure you that. And I'm excited to get in the trenches with you guys. So for those of you who are ready to commit 100 reach outs, okay, when you get it done, reach out to me and let me know, Josh, I reached out to my 100. I reached out. Maybe we'll do a call or something for you guys. Ben, are you down to do a special like mastermind for people who actually follow through?
I would love nothing more than to do that, because
Let's get it. Let's get it.
It's a commitment, and literally, like, yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
All right. So what we're going to do is drop a 100 in the chat if you guys are in to change your life, to change the trajectory of your generational lineage, your family tree, to live a life of freedom, to live a life that you truly want to live. Guys, for those of you who are sick and tired of being sick and tired of building someone else's dreams, for those of you who are tired of traffic jams, for those of you who are tired of alarm clocks, I'm telling you, the juice is worth the squeeze. How does it, like, I remember a mentor of mine, he once said this. He said, how does it feel to know that the rich dude is outworking you? How does it feel to know that you're being outworked by people who don't even need it as bad as you do? This is the time. Lock in. Why are you doing this business? And for us, we burned all the boats. We made a commitment to our kids. We wanted to show them what it looked like for mommy and daddy to pursue their dreams. And because we burned all of the damn boats, That's why we got the job done. So I see all of the commitments, right? And the challenge ends on the 1st. So midnight going into the 1st. This is just for this month, okay? So 100 reach outs. We see all the names. For those of you who are putting 100, we're gonna, Ben, we gotta get these screenshot right here. I'm gonna go through every single
I'm going
one.
through them right now.
We're
And I
gonna go
wish I
through
had
everyone.
photographic
Don't drop
memory.
no 100 in that if you're not about this life. But for those
Yeah.
of you who are about it, let's make it happen. I look forward to seeing the growth coming out of this 10-day challenge. And I look forward to partnering with a lot of you guys. I'll also be dropping my presentation from time to time in the Elite Synergy group, so you guys can even plug into what we have going on. But we are here to support you. Let's build a dynasty and let's take it to the next level. Ben, you have any final words, brother?
No, that's it. Hey, we're gonna put a post in the Elite Synergy Facebook group about the Club 100, and so let's make sure you guys comment in there. We'll post a replay of this actual Zoom in there as well. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Thanks you for allowing us to have this stage to be able to pour into you, so you can pour into others. And we'll see you on next week's call. Let's make it happen. God bless and good night.
Take care. God bless, guys. Let's make it happen. 100 reach out challenge. See you guys next week.